What's up, guys? Welcome to my loft. In this video, I'm going to go over all the gear that I'm going to be packing up with me on my backcountry hunt for the 2021 Utah mule deer archery hunt. Let's start with some of the clothing I'll be wearing. So what I'm going to be wearing in, which means not in my pack, it's going to be on me, would be this Matthews archery hat. Now I'm a hat guy, so this might change, but for right now, this is probably going to be the hat that I'm going to be wearing in. Now for the shirt, I go with the Badlands Algus long sleeve in approach camo here. Now this shirt is awesome, especially with those hotter temperatures. Next to skin, this will kind of wick away some of the moisture and will actually help cool you off. The pants are going to be the Badlands Scree pant. Now these pants are unbelievably comfortable. They stretch so they move with you, not against you. They have two pockets up the front, like normal pockets. They have a side cargo pocket here. And then on the back, they have the two back pockets. It also has some holes, 3 on each side on the inner leg to help cool off the boys. The belt that I'll be wearing, this is new for me this year, is the black Olvis belt. I'm not sure what it's called, but it's an awesome belt. It feels great wearing your pack. The cool thing about it is it also is stretchy, so it's going to move with you, not against you also. Now the socks I'll be wearing on my feet are these Badlands lightweight, I think they're called the Solum sock. They're merino wool. Now with the socks though, I will only pack up 2 pair. I'll wear one, and then once the day's over, I'll take them off, put them up to dry, and the next day I'll put on a new pair. And the cool thing about merino wool blends is they don't stink. They don't hold an odor in. And so with these socks, it's a plus. Now while we're on the topic of feet, let's dive into some of the footwear I'd be wearing up there. Now for the hike in, I'll be trekking up in the Crispi Nevadas here. Now these boots have performed very, very nicely for me. I've taken them up to Alaska and hunted here in my home state of Utah, and the thing I would suggest is spending a little bit more extra money on your footwear or boots, because if your feet aren't comfortable or they get wet, you're not going to have a good time, and you're not going to have a good hunt, and you're not going to stay out as long and get that buck or bull that you've been watching all summer while scouting. And then once I get up into my hunting AO, I will switch over to these Anxynt Moccasins. They're great for stalking around. They keep you quiet. I've walked over cactus, rocks, and other stuff in this, and my feet have stayed perfectly fine. Of course, they are moccasins, and they do have the ability to, so you could feel the ground. So walking on the rocks and stuff, you'll definitely feel it. But honestly, you can't beat these. If you're a bow hunter, you have to get a pair of these. I recommend them. Now let's dive into more of the clothing that I'll be packing in on my pack. In the base layers, I go with the merino wool mutton pants by Badlands. Now when it comes to base layers, I will stay away from cotton. There's a saying in the backpack community, cotton kills, and it's because it doesn't dry well, and it doesn't keep you warm when it's wet, and it just does not perform well. You either want to go with synthetics or merino wool blends. Now me personally, I like the merino wool. I like the way it feels against my skin. I like how when it's wet, it will still keep you warm. Now that's the downside to it, like compared to a synthetic. A synthetic's going to dry a little quicker. Merino wool isn't going to dry as quick, but like I said, it's still going to keep you warm even when drenched or wet. Now my base layer top is going to be this variant hoodie by Badlands. It is merino wool. It's a little thicker, but I'm a hoodie guy and I really love stuff with hoods. And the way that this hood fits, it's perfect. It just outlines your face so you can move and it doesn't restrict your view, especially as a bow hunter. Getting that anchor, it's not going to interfere with the sight picture. Now one thing I forgot to mention on the clothes I'll be wearing in is the boxer briefs. These are the Badlands Algus boxer briefs. And just like the shirt, it helps kind of keep things cool, especially down with the boys. So those I'll be wearing in. So going more into the outer layers that I'll be wearing, I'll be bringing up the new Badlands Detour hoodie. It's a 1/4 zip hoodie. The core part of the hoodie is more of a puffy. It does have some kangaroo type pockets on the front. Now the hood on this is just like the variant hood, how it just kind of fits and forms to your face perfectly and doesn't interfere with the view or your movement looking around or your sight picture. Now the rain gear I'll be packing up is the Badlands bell. I got the top and the bottoms here. Now with rain gear, it's something I always pack in my pack because every time I don't pack it, I end up needing it. And I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. But also it helps kind of act as a windbreaker, so I could throw it up over the top of my Detour hoodie and kind of help insulate my body heat a little bit more. The cool thing about the Bell rain gear from Badlands is it packs up nice and tight, doesn't take up much space in the pack, and it's pretty lightweight, so you're not gonna really notice it in your pack. Next up is the Gators. I'm a big Gator guy, so these are probably gonna go in my pack. If I don't pack these, it's gonna be a last minute thing. But I'll pretty much be wearing these anytime I'm wearing my boots. The only difference is when I'm having my Anxynt Moccasins on, I'll just be blousing my pants into the moccasins to help keep the debris and kind of help be a little bit more stealthier as well and not have it be dragging around on the ground. So next up would be the trekking poles. These are the Cascade trekking poles. I highly recommend these when you're hiking in or packing something out, especially. That's what I'll be mainly using these for. But anytime that you're hauling heavy loads, it really helps having these walking sticks. I also refer to them as old man sticks. So, trekking poles. Also, to go along the lines with the clothing, I wear these Merino wool gloves by Badlands. I can't remember what they're called, but they're really, really comfortable. The other pair of gloves that I'll be bringing up are these deer hide leather gloves by Anxynt. These are really comfortable. These are new for me this year, and right now they're my go-to gloves just to throw on when I'm glassing or working around camp. And if it gets really, really cold, especially in the later season, I'll be putting my Merino wool gloves on and then slipping these on over the top just to keep my hands a little warmer. Those are the gloves. Now I do wear a neck gaiter or face cover every now and then, and the neck gaiter I'll be wearing and bringing up with me is our very own E.M.agine Archer neck gaiter. This is good, of course, to kind of help conceal your face. I also wear it up over my ears and up on top of my head and throw my hood up over the top to kind of help keep my head a little warmer. So let's dive into optics. The Bino case that I'll be bringing up is the Adak Bino harness. I really love this Bino harness because it's quiet and has one-handed operation. I have a wind checker on the side that's also tethered so I don't lose it. I have my rangefinder, which is the Impact. I think this is the 850 one. I really don't need anything high-tech when it comes to a rangefinder because as an archery hunter, all I really wanted is a rangefinder that will help tell me the angle as well as the yardage, of course. Also in the rangefinder pocket, I made a little false bottom. So this goes in the middle, and then I have a lighter and chapstick kind of electrical taped together. So there's two reasons why I do this. Is for one, I'm gonna have these in my Bino case anyways, and for two, by having this set up this way, it helps keep my rangefinder up a little bit so I can easily grab it and get a quick range. And I have a lens cloth here, and in this pocket here I have a lens pen to help clean the optics. I have an extra battery for my rangefinder just in case it goes dead, or a buddy of mine with the same battery in their rangefinder could use one if they need it. I also have a Gerber multi-tool, comes in handy. And also in here I keep my tripod adapter for my binos. so that I can get to it quicker if I want to sit down and glass if I have my tripod out. And the binos I'm actually using is the Vortex Crossfire 12x50s. I am looking to upgrade, but that's probably going to be next year. And then I have the Vortex Bino tripod adapter on there that goes with the adapter that was in this pocket. Now for my spotting scope, I like to carry it in this sleeve. It's by Alpine Innovations. It protects the lenses, and also when it's on my tripod and it starts to rain or the dust is flying up from the wind, I could throw it up over and protect it a little bit more. The spotting scope that I'm using is the Vortex Diamondback. It's the 20 power 60x60, and this is another thing I'm looking to upgrade more next year, but it does great and it works for what I need it for, and it's also lightweight, which is a plus. I do film my hunts, of course, so I do use the phone scope adapter. You put your phone in this. This attaches to the lens of the spotting scope, and you attach this onto this, and you can digiscope tripod. I am using the Vortex High Country tripod. It has a ball joint head, which I like. Of course, I use this for the spotting scope in my binos, but I also use it for my camera as well while I'm filming. There's no use of really packing up another one when I'm already gonna have this one up there. Saves a little bit on weight. Now on top of glassing, the more comfortable you are while glassing, the better you'll be at glassing. So I do pack up this easy seat. My sister actually got this for me for Christmas. In the past, I either used my backpack or some clothing I had left over. But this is amazing. You could either have it like this, or sometimes if it's really rocky, I fold it over and sit on it like that. It's a game changer while glassing for sure. So let's dive into the sleeping system here that I'll be running up there. This is the Badlands 2-person. I think it's called the Artemis tent, if I'm pronouncing that right. I've ran this tent for a few seasons now, and it hasn't failed me or disappointed me in any way, so I continue to pack it up with me on my overnight stays. Now how I like to run this when I pack it is I'll keep the tent in this bag, and I'll condense it down pretty tight, and it fits in my bag pretty good. And then for the poles and the stakes, I put the stakes inside this bag in its own bag, and then I run the poles right along the side of my pack closer to my back. It makes it a little bit more compact that way. Sleeping bag, I am running the Badlands Cinder 35-degree bag. Now this bag has kept me warm. I haven't frozen in this bag, and I've taken this up to Alaska. Now of course when I went up to Alaska with it, we went in August and the temperature was a little warmer. But what I like to do with this sleeping bag is if it's going to be too cold, or if I am going to be cold, I do throw on my base layers, which is my Merino wool, and it keeps me really, really warm. Also, if I'm going up and it's going to be even colder, I do carry my Woobie, which is a blanket or blankie that they issue in the Army. It's more of like a poncho liner, and it adds about 10 degrees to this bag, and it keeps me pretty warm if I'm going more into the later season and want to backpack up in there. But for the sake of this hunt, I'm just going to be bringing the Cinder 35-degree bag. Now for the sleeping pad, I'm running this Climate. I don't know exactly what it's called, but I like it because I could roll it up nice and tight and stuff it in my bag. The thing people don't realize about a sleeping pad is it also keeps you warm, because the ground steals a lot of your body heat. So by having a sleeping pad, not only will you stay a little bit more comfortable if there's like rocks or anything underneath, but it also will keep you warm as well. So let's talk about the harvest kit, or some people call it a kill kit. Me personally, I like to call it a harvest kit because that's what I'm doing. I'm going up there to harvest some meat for the table. I have it in this Mountain Ops, I think they call it a grab bag or a go bag. I can't remember. It's pretty new this year. Inside, I carry gloves. I carry the gloves because it helps keep the meat clean. Now, if you're skinning and you hit something like a gland, or like you puncture the stomach and you get a bunch of the unwanted stuff that you don't want on the meat on your hands, you can always take the gloves off, put on a new pair, and continue working and not contaminate the meat. So the knife I'll be using this year is the Outdoor Edge pocket knife. with the replaceable blades. I have one in the knife itself, and then I carry 5 extra blades to go through if I need them. But on top of that, I do carry another pocket knife on my person. I can't remember the name of it, but it is a Gerber knife. I carry that for more difficult cuts. If I'm doing a cut that might break one of these blades, I'll use that knife instead. But also on the lines of knives, I do carry this Smith sharpener for either my pocket knife that I carry on my person, or if I run out of these blades and I need to sharpen one of them, I could use the sharpener. And also if one of my buddies need to sharpen their blade as well, I have it. I do also carry 25 feet of 550 cord. This helps if you want to hoist the meat up off the ground so it's not resting on the ground, or if you have to hoist it up in a tree overnight and then pack it out the next morning. I do carry a little bit of electrical tape. And electrical tape I mainly use to put the tag on the antler or animal. Also in my harvest kit, I pack up a little thing of Traeger's coffee rub. This is so that we can enjoy some of the meat on the mountain, either at camp or right before we pack out, so we can get some protein in us to help out with the long haul back to the Jeep. Now the game bags I'm using are the Caribou Gear game bags. I carry 4 bags up with me, with one smaller bag either for some of the scrap meat or the cape if I choose to bring that back. Now the reason I bring 4 bags is I like to keep each quarter in its own individual bag. It helps keep the air circulating through it a little better if you hang them. Next up, this might seem a little weird to some, but I do pack up some bug spray. Of course for the mosquitoes, but it also helps with some of the ticks up there as well. I just don't like mosquitoes buzzing around and landing on me. Just don't like it. Now while you're up there, of course you're gonna have water, and up in the high country it's kind of hard to find some. We did stash some up there. We have a 5-gallon at camp, but we ended up moving camp and we moved only one 5-gallon up over there, but we do have another 5-gallon up there. So on the hike in, we're gonna stop by that location before making the haul to camp, and we're gonna fill up that 5-gallon into some other water bags because that 5-gallon does have a hole in it. So I do have this 4-liter bag that I could pump some water in. I also bring up one of my old 3-liter Camelback bags to also carry a little bit more water up in. I do also have one of these that I'll be having in my pack for my daily, throughout the day, drinking water and staying hydrated. Now I also have this collapsible water bottle from Platypus that I got at Sportsman's. I use it for my mixed drinks. I am bringing up some Mountain Ops Ignite for the mornings. I have some Liquid IV that I'll be drinking throughout the day. And then I have the Mountain Ops BCAs that I'll be drinking with dinner to help with recovery. Now to filter the water, I use a water pump. I've used the Sawyers in the past and I just haven't really had the best of luck with them. I don't know how to pronounce the name. I think it's Catadine something hiker. I don't know. All I know is it works great for what I need it for, and that is to pump and filter water. So for personal hygiene, I also have it in one of these Mountain Ops Go bags. I have some deodorant. The only reason I have this is so that my buddies that I'm hunting with don't have to smell my BO. For toothbrush and toothpaste, I have a travel size toothpaste with a toothbrush. Now for a comb, so I can comb my beautiful beard here. I just have a little comb that I can comb it with, keep it nice and clean, keep it straight, you know, keep it in control. Now for when nature calls or just to clean up at camp, to stay fresh and clean, I'm bringing up some baby wipes. Those that have hunted in the backcountry or just do backpacking in general, you know what I mean when I say these come in clutch. Now since I am videotaping the hunts, I do need to charge the devices that I'm using to film them with. So to help out with that, I do have a Sea Summit dry bag to keep the cords in, as well as I keep the power bank. Now I don't know what the power bank is called. I was just gifted this one year for Christmas, It's just a little power bank, solar powered. Also keep a cord for my sat phone and my headlamp, and this is for my phone. And for more of a power source to help charge the power bank, I have the Nomad 10 by Goal Zero. It's kind of like a tablet. Plugs in here, has a little stand if I want to use it to stand it up to point at the sun, or I can always go like this. Now the goal behind this is I'll plug this in, put it at camp, and while you're out hiking around and hunting, you can be charging your devices or your power bank. On top of that, I do carry this Badlands, I think it's an everything pouch. I carry 5 spare batteries in here, as well as an extra SD card, so that I can continue filming when the batteries go dead. Now what's important in the backcountry is communication with either some of your family members if they're kind of wanting to keep in touch with you while you're up there, but also for added safety if you do run into a little bit of a bind. I do carry the Garmin sat phone. Now if you do go get a sat phone, I recommend looking into getting one that uses the Iridium network or satellite, because if you plan on going to Alaska or anywhere up far north, I've been told that that's the only one that really works the best in the Arctic Circle or the further north you go. This also acts as a GPS. I normally use my phone, which has Onyx on it, but if that fails me somehow, I still have a backup that I could use to navigate if I have to. It also has the SOS button, so if you do run into an emergency situation, you can call for help. For a headlamp, I have this rechargeable one. Like I mentioned, I could recharge this with a USB. I think this one's called the Night Izzy. It just has a 3 setting and also has this here. And if I hold this, it goes red. I like to use that if I'm hiking into a spot that I know deer bed in. It's not as bright, but you can kind of see where you're going and maneuver through the dark without really being that noticeable to the wildlife around you if you're trying to stay stealthy. Next thing is this little Duracell flashlight. Now this is a little bulky for some people, but when you're at camp, it's pretty nice to have a bigger light source than your headlamp. So I packed this up with me. Also, if you do end up wanting to trail an animal in the dark or just get out in the dark in general, you could use this. It's pretty bright. I think it has 3 settings. It also has an SOS setting on there as well if you do need to use it for help or whatnot. Also for filming purposes, I do carry a GoPro, or this is actually not a GoPro, it's more of like an off-brand. I like to use the point of view camera if I'm stalking in on an animal and I want to capture the progression of the stalk or get this shot on camera so I can share it with you guys. Now let's dive into the food. Now all my food I pack in a little grab bag, as I like to call them. I have all the snacks that I need, my breakfast. The only difference is I put my food in a separate bag because I'll be eating that at camp anyways. If I do plan on going somewhere and eating dinner at Glass Point, I'll pack that with me in my pack before I leave camp. But this has all the food and snacks that I need to get me through the day. The trip is going to be 8 days. I'm going to stay up there for 7. So the first day I hike in, which is this bag, I don't need a breakfast, but I'll need a dinner. On the last day, I won't need a dinner. So that's how I kind of meal prep for that. And I put all my meals in this 13-liter Sea to Summit bag. This is probably the heaviest thing other than the water that's going to be going in my backpack, but it's a necessity. You don't want to skip out on food. I plan on burning a crap ton of calories. I'll be consuming about around 3,000 calories throughout the day. Because I've been on backpack hunts where I didn't really plan well with food, and if you don't fill yourself up and replenish your body, you're not going to have a good experience, and you're just going to drag all through the hunt, and you'll probably end up going down earlier than you wanted to. I pack a jet boil up with me. We share it. So I do pack a smaller canister in here, but I also have a buddy that packs up another canister just in case we run low on fuel. Since we're all using it, it's good to have more fuel up there. For a spoon, I don't know what it's called. I do carry this kidney cup up I got this from my time in the service. It works great. If you do end up running out of fuel, you could put water in here. And if you're allowed to have fires where you're going, you can put this in the fire and help kind of cook and boil your water that way. We kind of go a little above and beyond when it comes to camping up there. We like to kind of make our camp a little bit more like home. And so on top of that, I do carry up some little tiny flags with me. There's an American flag in here, as well as the Army colors, or the Army flag, kind of fly up there. And then to help kind of keep things a little organized with all this gear, so it's not a mess in my pack, I do have some dry bags, as well as some of the Mountain Ops grab bags or go bags, whatever they call them. I do carry some of this to kind of help organize the gear. So if I need something, I can grab the bag rather than digging through my pack and pulling everything out and having a yard sale. So what am I going to put this all in and carry it with on my back? I'll show you. I have the Badlands Vario frame with the 50 bag. I also have the Deluxe Batwings on here. I've used this bag, I just got it this year. I've used this bag on all my scouting trips this year just to test it out. And I've had Badlands packs in the past and they work really well for me. I love their warranty. It's the best one in the industry. And so far, this pack has been carrying the loads for me very well. And I can't wait to pack out some deer, some elk, and a bunch of other critters in it. Now on top of my bag, I do have my IFAK or med kit on the hip belt. I used to pack it inside my pack, but something like this is important to have, very handy and quick to get to, so I put it on my hip belt on the outside of my pack. I'll kind of dive more in on this as well as a bunch of the other gear that I have. I plan on doing an in-depth video for each piece, and when I do that, I'll go over more of what's inside this IFAK. I'm still playing around with it, but by the most part, I have the stuff in there that I need for myself as well as anybody that comes hunting with me. Now what am I going to use to take and harvest my animal? Well, of course, this is an archery hunt. I'll be bringing my bow with me, and the bow I'm using is the Matthews Triax. Arrows are the Victory VAP 350 spine. Can't remember how much they weigh because the guys at Wild Arrow, they said get this arrow, and I let them build it because I trust their input and their knowledge. But I have the Victory VAP 350 Elite shafts, 4 fletch on the back end, and then I have the Valkyrie system. I have 180 grain broadhead. These things hit hard. I have the black gold 3-pin slider. I have my first pin at 20, 30, and then 40. And of course the bottom pin is the floater, which whatever the pin is on the sight tape, it's going to be the bottom. So if I have the sight tape set at 70 yards, the bottom pin will be at 70, middle pin 60, top pin 50, for example. I have the Bolmar grip tape, as well as their nose button. I have the QAD fall-away arrow rest. I have the Fuse stabilizers, back bar and front bar, but I did put the Matthews stabilizer end on this one as well, just for added look. I do have the bow spider, which I do plan on attaching it to my pack with that. I do have this Matthews stand here. I probably won't bring it, but if I'm going in a place where I'm going to sit in an ambush position or more of a blind, I will use this to kind of keep my bow up off the ground so I'm not going to step or stumble upon it and break something on it. That did happen to my dad. Last year he stepped on his sight right before we were going to go to Alaska. The release that I'm using is the Scott's Samurai release. I used handheld releases in the past, haven't really had the best luck, so I went back to this. I've had this for years and it hasn't done me wrong yet. I'm using the Matthew quiver, and then I also have, to help with dampering a little bit and quietability on my bow, I do have limb savers up here. And also as a reminder, these patches are made by Anxynt, and it says don't effing miss. That's the goal anyways. Kind of have it right here to remind me to stay calm and don't miss. And to go along with my bow, to help kind of protect the strings, the cables, and the cam systems, I do carry this bow cover from Solo Hunter. I use this for the hike in, so if any brush or something hits it, it's not damaging it. Or if I'm at camp and I'm going to bed, I'll throw this up over, and I'll put my bow in my vestibule on my tent to help keep it out of the elements. I don't really like keeping it outside of the tent because I'm afraid some squirrel's going to get up there and chew on something that I don't want chewed on. And that's pretty much going to do it for the gear that I'm going to be packing up there. What I might bring up there, it's going to be more of a last minute thing. Might bring up our very own Tacticool stocking pouch. You could also get this at www.E.M.agine.org. Just a little fanny pack, the E.M.agine arrow, the E.M.agine buck, has a bow, the E.M.agine flag, little pocket on the inside, and the main compartment in the back. But other than that, that's going to do it for this video. I'm going up with fellow bushwhacker Austin Brower, and also the host of Hump the West podcast, Skylar Harrison. We're going up there, like I said, for 8 days, hunting for 7, and we're pretty excited. I'd like to thank you guys for tuning into this video. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on more and future adventures, as well as the upcoming 2021 hunting season. And I wish all the best of luck to you guys this hunting season as well. Whether you're hunting with a bow, muzzleloader, or rifle, stay safe. And until next time, stay lethal.